best to protect my county in the future. Sorry guys, I underestimated you. Modern squad automatic weapons typically used 5.56mm bullets compatible with assault rifles, so even with their rapid rate of fire, they wouldn't do enough damage to take down an orc. You could easily take out one orc by barraging it, but that wouldn't be practical in an all-out battle. The Bozacies and the guards stared in awe, but the lightning ones that killed the orcs so easily were definitely not invincible. "Alright, let's keep going," said Mitsuha. The hunter gave a longing glance at the game they were leaving behind, but he knew they couldn't carry the orcs all the way back to the village. Making the rest of the group carry them wasn't an option. Count Bozes had hired him as the guide. Even thinking about his own gains or slowing down the operation by carrying it himself was out of the question. He had to give it up. "I'll pay him later to make up for it," Mitsuha thought. The party continued deeper into the forest. Suddenly, something jumped out of the trees right in front of them. Ogres. A whole pack of them. The hunter panicked. Ogres were the strongest monsters that inhabited the area. And out of nowhere, there was a horde practically right on top of them. The Wolf-Fang mercenaries didn't miss a beat to shoot at their heads, but the bullets barely had any effect. The monsters blocked the ammo with their thick arms. One of the subordinates tried to switch out his empty magazine, but an ogre swung at him and knocked him off his feet. The other subordinate decided he didn't have time to reload his magazine and instead drew a pistol and fired desperately. The rifle bullets had no effect, pistol bullets had no chance. Just when one of the ogres was about to swing his arm at the fallen man, the captain shot the rest of his 5.56mm bullets at its head, killing it. Not even an ogre could take that many assault rifle bullets to the face. More ogres were charging close behind the first one. The subordinate who was swept off his feet was still alive, but he hadn't recovered enough to stand. The captain and the other subordinates scrambled to reload their magazines, but they weren't fast enough. They had no choice but to block the ogre's punches with their rifles. "We need to run. No, I need to get Sabine and Colette out of here. Our pistols aren't gonna do any good. What should I do?" Mitsuha's panic was interrupted by the sound of something slicing through the air. When she looked up, she saw that the Bozacies had leapt in front of the mercenaries and swung their swords down. 8 blades whooshed, swished, and sliced as they tore up the orcs. Blood spattered all around them. Yep, 8 blades, all 4 Bozacies and their guards are fending off the ogres. Men in the nobility led armies on the battlefield. They were trained to fight from a young age and, naturally, were stronger than the average soldier. Even Theodore was holding his own. The guards were also doing their best to support Alexis, Theodore, and Iris so they didn't get hurt. Count Bozes didn't even need the guards' support. He was unquestionably more skilled than all of the guards who were handpicked out of a group of 30 elite fighters, all capable enough to serve the Count's family. I'm not surprised the Count, Alexis, and Theodore are all so skilled. That's expected of noble men. But Lady Iris, how are you so strong? Wow, she just cut another ogre's throat. The mercenaries finished reloading their magazines as the Bozacies kept the ogres at bay. The subordinate who'd been knocked off his feet had rejoined the fight. He wasn't injured too badly. The captain's assault rifle had been rendered unusable, so he held a pistol in his right hand and a knife in his left. The 7.62mm bullets were more than enough to kill an ogre as long as there was enough time and distance to aim for a weak spot. The mercenaries were at point-blank range, and the ogres were distracted by the swords in front of them. A clear headshot was a cinch. The great height of the ogres also removed the risk of accidentally shooting an ally. The mercenaries fired their guns until all the ogres fell. I thought we were goners. The captain shuddered. The subordinates nodded, pale-faced. I underestimated them. Assault rifles are enough to kill ogres if you hit a vital point, but those bastards can survive 6 shots to the chest and keep charging. We'd be toast if they surprise us from close range or surround us. We got lucky back there. During the battle to defend the capital, The mercenaries were far away from the monsters and had nothing to obstruct them as they mowed down the charging army. Their heavy machine guns gave the monsters no chance of coming anywhere near them. If a horde of beasts had surprised them at close range in a forest, they probably would have died. The guards and the Bozacies are much more prepared for that kind of situation. 2 of the guards were injured protecting everyone. Fortunately, the wounds weren't life-threatening. They looked like serious injuries to Mitsuha and the others, but the guards seemed to consider them nothing more than scratches. They laughed casually as their companions tied up their wounds. The guards had been truly gallant as they calmly brandished their blades against the giant ogres, dodged their swinging arms, and inflicted slash after slash. Each one was a man among men, worthy of being called a soldier. It just hits different watching a person fight with his own physical prowess and spirit, unlike people on modern Earth who rely on the strength of their weapons. Without these guards, we'd all be hold on. Why didn't I jump us all away? How could I have been that out of it? Some of us could have died. I can't afford to make mistakes like that. I froze out of fear. I got cocky with this whole mission. I felt invincible. But once those ogres showed up, I totally blanked. The Bozacies probably never once thought that I would jump them away. I doubt the idea occurred to the Wolf Fang guys either in the heat of battle. It's not something they're used to relying on. And I was the one who naively decided to shrink the number of our guards. My mistake put everyone in danger and let 2 guards get injured. I'm so stupid. The wounded men were in a great mood, excited by the honor of protecting not just the Bozacies, but also the Archpriestess, the savior of their kingdom, and her divine soldiers. They reveled in their ability to carry out the goddess's will with their own blades, without a need for the divine lightning wands. The Wolf Fang mercenaries, who looked dejected over their failure, looked up at the guards as if staring at gods. Yeah, the guards just made them look like total wimps. And they were even upstaged by 2 children and a noble lady. Their dignity as divine soldiers must be in shambles. We're going back with traversal, announced Mitsuha. Huh? The Bozacies were wide-eyed. Their reaction was unsurprising given what Mitsuha said about her life force. I put you all in danger with my naivety. It's my fault the guards were injured, and I can't let them walk for hours in that state. I'll take you all back to the Bose's estate with traversal and take the hunter to Colette village after that. For the last time, that's not the name of the village. Mitsuha ignored Colette's comment. I'm sure that name will stick if I say it enough times. Persistence pays off. Colette and Sabine stayed back during that fight. They were probably too scared to do anything, just like me. We didn't stand much chance of hurting the ogres, but we could have helped to hold them back by shooting them in the face with our pistols. An accurate shot from close range might have killed or at least blinded one. But I was useless. I couldn't move. Why, though? I had no problem shooting the ancient dragons. Mitsuha had heard that ancient dragons were more intelligent than humans. That might have been why she was able to remain calm as she faced them. It didn't feel much different than facing a human. Even though they were massive creatures who thought of humans as insects and killed without hesitation. By contrast, ogres were brutal, mindless beasts driven only by their greed. Never had death felt so close. Mitsuha had frozen with fear, and the same probably went for Sabine and Colette. She could shoot people from a distance just fine, but when faced with monsters at close range, she was overwhelmed. I was naive. Just stupid. I was so flustered I even forgot about jumping, nearly killing Sabine, Colette, and the 3 Wolf Fang mercenaries. Don't I care about the Bozacies, you ask? They would have been fine. I think they would have wiped out the ogres easily, even without our help. Arg, damn it. Damn it, damn it, damn it. I'm such an idiot. That's why I have to do this. I'm not changing my mind, Mitsuha said hollowly, forcing down her turbulent emotions. Count Bozes and Lady Iris looked back at her with the same solemn expression. She would have expected them to yell at her so much that veins bulged in their temples, but they stood in silence. They can probably tell how I feel. Alexis and Theodore looked at her with pity in their eyes. I didn't think I was showing any emotion, but my frustration must still be really apparent. Whatever. Gather around me. Everyone did as she asked without objection. Jump. I guess I should have yelled traversal. But that hardly matters. Mitsuha jumped everyone to the Boza's estate. They didn't notice they were on Earth for a split second in between. She left the Boza's and the guards saying she would come back to apologize another day, then took everyone else to the Wolf Fang base on Earth. She left the mercenaries there, then went to Colette village with the hunter, Colette, and Sabine. Finally, she jumped alone to retrieve the dead orcs and ogres. I'm giving you these in exchange for your word that you won't tell anyone what you saw today. If you do tell anyone. Mitsuha paused suggestively. The hunter went pale under the weight of her blank stare and nodded fervently. It was evident that he wouldn't dare disclose the divine soldier's failure or her ability to assault. I feel bad about threatening the hunter, but he saw too much. Well, these orcs and ogres combined with the reward he'll receive from the count will make for a sufficient reward/hush money. Mitsuha dropped by Colette's house to greet her parents, then jumped to her home in Japan with the girls. They washed off their sweat and grime and went to bed in each other's arms. It was the shortest bath they'd taken, and all three were silent the entire time. Mitsuha thought she could feel Sabine and Colette shivering in her arms. They couldn't be cold after taking a warm bath. It's probably just my imagination. Rise and shine. Shut up, Mitsuha. Yes, Mitsuha. Why are you yelling? Yikes, that didn't go over well. I guess having someone shout in your ear isn't the most pleasant way to wake up. Where'd all this energy come from? Grumbled Sabine. You were so depressed yesterday. I'm known for my ability to bounce back in a snap. Mwahaha, I'll reflect on my actions, but I won't dwell on them. You can't be serious. Everyone makes mistakes in life. No point in letting it get me down. Once everyone got out of bed, Mitsuha made a simple breakfast with leftovers in the fridge. She then jumped Sabine to the royal palace, Colette to her home in Yamano County, and lastly, herself to the Wolf Fang base. She didn't appear inside with no warning, of course. She appeared outside, out of view, and walked into the building where the captain's office was. Is Captain here? Mitsuha asked one of the mercenaries who was hanging out. Yeah, he's doing some kind of training outside. That's unusual. The mercenaries never skimp on their training, but the captain always does his physical training in the afternoon. He doesn't like working out in the morning because of the temperature, muscle stiffness, and how he has to take a shower after he sweats, Mitsuha thought as she headed to where she was instructed. She found the captain waving around what looked like a practice sword. He was joined by the two subordinates from yesterday along with some other men. What are you doing? Oh, it's the mill lady. We're training with the sword to prepare for next time. A real man wields a sword. Ain't that right, guys? The two subordinates from yesterday nodded. I got these practice swords right after we got back yesterday. We'll never get caught with our pants down like that again. You can count on us. Count Bozes, Lady Iris, Alexis, Theodore, and the four guards were undeniably epic yesterday. Using nothing but their skill and speed to fight off and overpower ogres with muscles so thick they could repel assault rifle bullets, they were practically heroes. What they did shouldn't have been humanly possible. They were soldiers worthy of their position as the protectors of the border territory. The Wolf Fang members were far from weak, but the Bozacies and the guards were just that good. That said, the captain, the two subordinates, and other mercenaries who must have heard what happened were clearly bothered by how greatly they were outperformed. What's wrong? The captain asked when Mitsuha didn't react. I don't want to say this, but I have to. If I'm looking for swordsmen, I'm not going to hire amateurs. There are plenty of expert swordsmen from my country's capital or neighboring territories. I can hire them for a lower wage, too. Oh. Considering the exchange rate, it would be much cheaper to hire local mercenaries than to hire the captain and his gang. It'd be nonsensical to pay more money for amateurs. Trust me, I get it.